Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations, and today we are going to be doing wooden heart crafts. So obviously in anticipation of Valentine's Day, and these are all dollar store items. The first ones, look at this pack of 50, lots of tape too, of 50 hearts was $4. So this is Canadian because I'm in Canada. But look at how cute that little heart shape is. So let's get out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they come with the little jute strings. I mean, come on. I got this big plaque, quite thick, quite substantial, $2. We're going to be covering that part over. Oh, I hate when they're plastic on the top. Okay, I'll get the sticker off. Got this little guy. I don't know how much this one was. I got a couple of them. This was from last year. And I think it might have been 3 in a pack for $1 or $1.50 or something. Nice substantial wood. And then we got this guy. And this guy, glasses would make my life easier. This guy was $1.50, and it's nice separated wood, and again, pretty substantial, so you kind of can't beat it. Now, the first step in this process, before we do anything, is I got to get them base painted, base coated. We're going to be doing different things to each of them, so it's going to be 4 different projects for you. And again, because a lot of times you like to do like Valentine stuff with your kids, for the most part, a bunch of these are going to be kid friendly. So, you know your kids. You know what mess you're willing to put up with. So I'm just using an all-in-one paint. I'm using Casement by Fusion to get these base coated. And I mean, this one with the printing, this is going to take a couple of coats for sure. And I just want to get a nice even coat on them all before we get started on anything. So I'm going to come back at you. Not today. I'm doing this before I leave for the day. But I'm going to come back at you when these are all done and dry, because you don't need to watch me paint white paint forever. And then we'll get started with the zhuzhing and the actual craft part of this. For this little craft, I have a piece of plastic. You can see it's the one that I had the hearts drying on after they were painted. And this is a great one to do with kids, because we're just going to take some shaving cream. It doesn't matter what brand. And I'm just going to squirt a bunch. You can do this on any kind of plate or surface, whatever you got. And then I'm using alcohol inks, but you could use food color. So I'm just going to kind of smooth out this surface a little bit. And then I'm going to drop my ink. So food coloring works. Oh my goodness, that one's just locked tight. There we go. And we're just going to drop some colors. Now, I'm going to be doing pinks and reds because of Valentine's, but you can do whatever colors you'd like. Maybe one other little pink. And then you can take a toothpick. I've got a coffee stir stick, and we are just going to swirl these. So multiple directions, and then we're going to take our hearts and we're just going to push them in, pull them out, and then just take a scraper and just scrape that excess off. And then set that off to the side to dry. For this wooden one, I purchased this jar of assorted pink buttons, $4, dollar store. Big button on the top that was on the lid, but it's fallen off. I'll use it for something. And what I'm looking to do is to glue these down. I'm just going to use some hot glue, and I'm going to, ouch, layer these buttons. Now, I'm not going to want that blob there. So the white was just my background for this. I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to do this without my getting totally burned. So I think that's going to be 4. I'm going to alternate the colors of my stripes. So I'll do a pink row, but I'm going to layer them on top of each other. So I'm going to do a light pink row, then I'll do a dark pink row, glue everywhere. So I think I still need 4 on here. Okay, so I need to find 4 more of those. But then I'm going to layer on top, so it's much fuller looking. Does that make sense? And then I will layer on here with the same ones. And then I'm just going to glue that all up. This big heart, it's gotten some of the white on it just to be able to start to cover over some of the lettering. But now it's going to get a couple of coats of the DIY marquee paint. And then I'm going to seal it. And I'm just going to use a polyacrylic sealer for this. Not wax, because I'm going to want to glue things onto it, and the wax will kind of resist that until it's dry, fully dry. And I don't want to wait that long, so I'm going to use a polyacrylic. I'm going to use Big Top. So when you next see it, 2 coats of red, 1 coat of Big Top. Now, for this little guy, so we had that one little wooden one. I have this lovely little pansy napkin, and what I want to do is start by separating this. So if your napkin is 2-ply, you need to take off 1 backing sheet. If it's 3-ply, then you need to take off 2. And I don't know. So I'm having to check here. See if, oh yeah, see? There was still another one to go. So you want to get it down to just the last sheet, whatever it happens to be. One of the reasons I painted this white was that that's going to be the background. It's going to allow my design to show really nicely. So what I'm going to do is, what's a good paintbrush for this? Let me just grab you. I'm just going to, oh my goodness. Okay. Everything in here glues closed. All right. So I'm going to give this a generous coating of my Mod Podge. And I'm just doing the top. Not worrying about the sides. And I'm just going to take it and lay it down on my flat napkin because that's just the easiest way. And then I'm just going to kind of squeegee it on so that it's nice and flat. I want to make sure I get out to those edges. And then we're letting this dry. So we're not top coating it yet. We want to let this dry in place and then we'll come back to it. But while I have my gloss Mod Podge out, I want to top coat these anyway. So I'm just going to, I just want to give them a little bit of a sheen. So I'm going to get these coated. Now you can see I did the front and back because, you know, then you've got a variety of ways that you could use it. So I'm going to coat the one side, let it dry. When I top coat this, then I'll coat the back because then I'm not getting out multiple paint brushes for multiple times. It's all about the economy of movement, folks. Let's start getting some of these projects finished off. Now, our little heart tags, what I am going to do is I am just going to take a gold pen and I am going to write love across it. Now, I don't have the best handwriting. I'm okay with that. You could print it, so I could print it on, but the idea is that on the back then, so I'm just doing a sentiment on the front. You could do, whoops, you could then, if you're using it as a little gift tag, you can write the person's name on the back, right? If you're handing it directly to them, you might choose not to bother. Okay, so the next little thing I have, and I don't know why this is all kind of stuck in there. Just a bad roll. It seems to be kind of like almost glued up at the top. Okay, it'll be okay. All right, so what I'm looking at doing is just cutting a little piece. Look at this. Look how cute this little ribbon is. This is from the dollar store. So, you know, and I'm just folding it in half and I'm just trimming off the ends. So I just have little ends like this. Oh, and this one I went backward. Well, we'll see how that goes. There we go. It's a little small. We'll see. We'll see if it works. And I have a little tiny ribbon also from the dollar store in just a pink color. So what I'm looking at doing is folding this in half, putting it through the hole, and then taking those ends through that hole. Before I tighten it up, I'm taking just this little bit of ribbon and I'm squishing it together and tucking it in between so that when I tighten this, and I just pull it taut, then I just have this tiny little bow hanging out the top. And then I can attach that to any of my gift packages, gift bags, whatever I got going. All right, the next guy. So he's got his little hanging hardware on there already. One of the things that I was thinking of is I got these little tiny wicker hearts, also from the dollar store. And they're just kind of, don't know if I want this little lace bow. I'm thinking not, but I need a little tiny hanger on it, just so that I can attach it. It has a little metal frame, so it's got a metal loop here. And I'm just going to tie this on. Big fat fingers. As I say that, take my eyes away. And all right. Ultimately, I'm going to be able to glue the ribbon onto my other bow. And I just want it to lightly be able to hang there, to kind of dangle. All right. So if that's there, then where did I put my other ribbons? I have too many things around me. Right here, just right in front of me. So before I get started on that, let me just kind of glue these down into place here. If my glue gun's ready. There we go. And what I have is I have a little bit of, so all these ribbons are also from the dollar store. I like if I say it's going to be dollar store stuff, that it's all dollar store, as much as is humanly possible. Oh my goodness, avalanche of things. I don't know about you guys, but I always have a hard time getting rid of that little plastic thing without cutting into my ribbon. So this is just kind of like a light mauve, kind of satiny, trolley kind of thing. And I have a little bit of, there we go. And a little bit of lace to layer up. There we go. And do I like that pinky color? Not particularly. All right, so let me trim off the excess of this, and that's not my favorite color for it, so it's good. It's gonna get hidden. And so what I wanna do is just a little tiny bow. And again, my fingers are gonna be my downfall on this one. So let me get a little tiny piece of wire. I'm not gonna be able to tie it. So let's just admit defeat right from the start. I'm gonna get really tiny, really thin, flexible wire, also from the dollar store, so that when I go to do this, I just have to take my finger, wrap it around one finger, wrap it around my second finger, and I can spread my fingers out if I want a bigger bow. This isn't huge, so I'm just kind of opening it up a little bit. And I have, I'm gonna hold it this way. So I have it crossed in front. I can take my little piece of wire up between my two fingers and back. Let me get the other end to the back, so that I can now take my fingers out and twist these in place. This avoids my having to use more ribbon to tie a big knot. And I didn't want to have this big knot in the front of it, so that instead, I just get that little bow. And because it's silver, it's twisted, I can easily cut this with scissors, so that I'm going to be able to just simply trim this off and then glue in place. All right, so another little dab of glue. My glue gun's over there leaking like crazy. It just does its own thing. It's got its own little mind. And I'm going to tuck my little ends in behind my heart and just zhuzh out my bow. So nice and simple. We've got nice and simple. We've got the other little heart in front, and it's just kind of a cute, easy little embellishment for, again, a particular package or gift, or just as, you know, on top of a box of chocolates, or maybe, I do know people that have Valentine's trees. They have a fake Christmas tree and they leave it up, and they take down the decorations and put up Valentine's decorations. So they do that about January 10th, 15th. They take the Christmas down. They put up the Valentine's decorations. They have that up until Easter, and then they do it in Easter and have all of their bunnies and eggs and things that the kids decorate eggs. They hang them from the tree. They switch it out for kind of an Easter tree. Then they take it down for the summer, and then they start in. And I think they actually start, so it's Canada. We don't have as big a deal about Thanksgiving as Americans. If you're from America and watching, Thanksgiving is a much bigger deal for you guys, and it's much later. So they don't do a Thanksgiving, but they do Halloween. And so they do the whole thing for Halloween as well, which, okay, that's cool too. That's more work than I'm into, but you know what? Good for them. So we have one last project on the go, which is our big red heart. Now this has been painted in the DIY Marquee Red, just one coat of that, and I have waxed it with the clear DIY wax. So our next steps require me to go gather a couple of things, so let me do that. In particular, I have to find a hammer somewhere. I don't know where my hammer has disappeared to. Okay, I may have to use a screwdriver as a hammer. If I do, don't judge. You just do what you gotta do. But I'll be back with my stuff. Okay, my hammer is no show, so I'm tired of looking for it. It's here somewhere, I'm sure. It would not have walked out, but I can't find it. So we'll try using something else to start with, though. So we've gone kind of pretty. We're gonna go kind of pretty, but a little moody. Why not? So what I want to do is take a little bit of dark wax. Dark wax is the brown wax. And I'm just going to kind of, you know, darken some of these edges. You know, just for those that have a slightly different feeling about love in their life, right? And you know what, Valentine's isn't my favorite holiday. And I know that I've said that before, because I really don't think that you should need one day a year to kind of celebrate those special people in your lives. And it kind of has developed just this slightly romantic connotation that it's only for the one special person in your life, right? Where I'm kind of going, we have all kinds of special people in our lives, and Valentine's is about them as much as anything else. So all those people that feel awful around Valentine because they don't have that one person in their life, it's like, there's no reason for them to feel that way, because it's just about, it's as much about friendship and about family and about reaching out to others. And I don't know. So regardless, it could explain why I do some Valentine's crafts, but I don't do tons of Valentine's crafts. Just because I'm not digging it. I like the craft part. I just don't necessarily get the holiday. I don't know. It's probably just me. It's probably just a me thing. All right. What I do have is this really thin, see-through kind of beige burlap ribbon. And what I'm looking at is I want this on here, but I don't want it straight across because I just don't. And so what I'm going to do is glue it in the back, but I'm going to use something to hold it so that I don't burn myself for a change. So we'll get this side tacked down, and then, there we go. I kind of make sure that I'm angling this the way that I want. Perfect. And then put some glue down and pull it. Oh, see, I didn't want to burn myself, but I think it's just impossible for me to use a glue gun and not do it at some time. So it's a good thing that I have kind of tough fingers. It's just, maybe they've developed that way over time as a self-defense mechanism for the number of times I burn them. That is possible too. Okay, and I'm just gonna cut off that little bit of excess. All right, so we're there. Now, what I am thinking of is I have some solo wood flowers. So these are those really super thin wood flowers. Now you can dye these, so you can dip them into dye, let them dry. I just wanted to add a little bit of color because I'm just thinking of just one, right? Just gluing the one rather than a whole bunch. So rather than dyeing the whole thing, I just want to add a little bit of red to it. So I have my IOD ink pad, and this has got tomato, and I'm just going to kind of pounce the edges. So see, so we're just adding a little bit of the color to it. And I think that's it. So ultimately, that's going to go there. What I do want, and oh shoot, I gotta go looking for that too. So I do have those. I do have this container of metal accents. So like little keys. I like that key. That seems about the right size. You might be a little bit big. You might be okay. And I just got this. It's a whole thing. Oh, I kind of like that little clock. So maybe the clock and that key. What else have I got? I wonder if there's a heart in there somewhere. So I got this off Amazon. I'll go back into my history and see if I've got a link that would take me to it. And I'll drop that in for you. It's got like little wrenches. It's got lots of little faux keys. Here's a little teapot. Here's a bee. Here's a little mini rooster. That key has a heart on it. If I don't find a heart, there's a Christmas tree. There's a little fake clock with the rabbit, like from Alice in Wonderland. Glue them in place rather than hang. Because then I can see them. If I hang them, I can't see them. Oh, the dilemmas. So this is what I'm thinking. But if I hang them, then they're just gonna hang in a clump. And I'm kind of digging that. All right, I think I'm gonna suck it up and glue. Okay, now we're cooking. Get this guy on. Okay, so far so good, awesome. All right, the other thing, hence the need for the hammer that I don't have, is I have some little tiny black tacks. They're kind of almost oblong in shape on the top, and they're very rustic looking. You might not be heavy enough. You might be. I can get my fingers out of the way. I just want to add a couple of these in here to, my fingers are too fat to hold that properly. So I'm taking little hemostats, holding that in place. Much better. Okay, now I am looking at these being slightly raised. So I didn't want them to go all the way down. I just want them slightly raised as an accent. So you can see them there. And where else do I want to put them? Okay, I want you straighter. There we go. And I'm going to put them in a couple of other little spots around the edges. And then this is done. So I didn't want it super dressy or fancy and no big bows. I think the flower is enough. So I'm going to add a couple more tacks, and then we can call this one done and we can recap. Oh my goodness, we're at the end. Right, let's take a look at our crafts. So first up, because they're the easiest to grab right here, are our little wooden heart tags. Now these are the ones that came 50 to a box for $4. So I have a lot that I can use this season, but I have tons that I can use next season as well. So I can do something different next season. So this was our shaving cream with the alcohol inks, but you could, swirled in there, but you could also do it with food coloring, and you can of course do your hearts in any color. And we've just added, a handwritten word on there. You could just write the person's name on there instead. I've got room on the back because I double colored the sides, did both sides. But, just a little bit of dollar store ribbon and you're good to go. This is a great one to do with kids because they can handwrite the person's name on there, in whatever fashion they are printing at that stage in time. And that's cool. The first one that we did was just this cute little heart. I took advantage of the fact that it had the dividers in it already. We just used the dollar store buttons that came and arranged them in the straight lines as well. I gotta tell you, I really love how this one turned out. I wasn't sure, and there was just like 3 of these darker ones in there that I put in the center. So I think that this is really simple, nice and cute, something that you can add to your decor for Valentine's without it screaming Valentine's, and it's still got a little bit of that cottagey look to it. This little solid wood heart from the dollar store, we just embellished with a little bit of like the dollar store ribbon and lace and a napkin. So, and one of the little wicker hearts. So you can ultimately do this in whatever kind of colors or florals that you want. And what I love about this one is it's gone away from the pinks, right? So we're not in the pink Valentine. It gives you that Valentine sentiment, but in that violet with those violets and things. And I think that this is super sweet, kind of romantic looking. So there's that. Then we go into the Valentines that's a little less, a little bit more grungy. We still kept it pretty simple. So you can see that I haven't emblazoned it with big words or tons of florals. We've got a little bit of some of, you know, the metallics in here with the keys and the hearts and the little clocks and some of the raised, you can see that they're raised up still, the raised tacks. But again, I think that this is super cute as well, just in a totally different style. There's so much flexibility with the wooden hearts and taking them in any direction that you want to go. And I hope that these 4 different projects gave you a number of different looks and a number of different ways of being able to decorate these things up, whether for yourself, with your children, whatever you happen to be doing. I think if you have a booth as well, then you want to have a little bit of a variety that's going to appeal to a broader audience so that you can sell to a bunch of the people that come by and not just 1 or 2. Everybody's got a different feeling about Valentine's, and I think that these kind of encompass a lot of different feelings, whether you're giving it to somebody out of friendship, out of love, out of remembrance, whatever sentiment you're trying to capture on that particular day. Hopefully this gives you a little bit to be able to pull from. Let me know what you think of these ones, guys. As always, I love hearing from you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.